Got on mute. Hello, and welcome to Vice Rhino's channel. I am not Vice Rhino. And due to an increasing series of poor decisions, I have the reins today. Hello, everybody. I am Shannon Q. And I'm very excited to be here with you guys today to talk about all of the mess that is Twitter. Twitter is my playground where I go to be the worst version of myself, and I finally get to bring that to you. The people. I finally get to bring you the worst version of me. So I'm very pleased and excited to be here today. And I almost started with no sound. I was this close. True to brand. I almost started with no sound. You're welcome, everybody. For those of you who do not know me, I am Shannon Q. I have a channel called Shannon Q. I am also one of the co-hosts of a little-known show called The Atheist Experience. And somebody was silly enough to let me do this. I will also give you a precursor. At midnight this evening, Nova Scotia time, I will be turning 40 years old. It is almost my birthday. My birthday is tomorrow, December 8th. And I am dealing with it with all of the grace and dignity that one would expect of someone like me. And I am drinking pop. So we're going to have some fun today. I have lots of exciting tweets for you. And by exciting, I mean awful, horrible tweets that we get to go over together. And I'm pumped to interact with you guys too. And you see this little ticker below me? You see all these balls? These balls are you. You guys are these balls. If you send a super chat, it will show me, it will change color. And if you engage in the chat, it will show up beneath me. So be the balls, guys. Be the balls. Now, I was told not to encourage super chats, but it's my birthday and I do whatever the fuck I want. So send super chats, make me say ridiculous crap, show support for Vice, tell me how much you hate me. I want to see it. I want to see all the super chats. I want to engage with you guys. I want to know what are you. That's right, Jazz Cat. I had you at balls. So, who's ready for some twits? Some twit tweets. Who's ready? Who's amped? Who is excited? I'm so excited. I'm out of breath. I can barely take it. We've already got a super chat. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. I'm so excited. Can't wait for Shannon to take on some tweets. Me either, I heart dogs. And Whiskey Tea Foxtrot, $5, just $5. Thank you for the just $5. I want to start off by one of my tweets. So I made a tweet today that I thought to myself was just an innocuous tweet. Turns out this is really controversial, so I want to hear what you guys think about this. So I'm going to read it to you. So this is my tweet. And I watched a TikTok today. This is how this started. So I watched a TikTok today, and it was somebody from like here in Canada that went to a Thanksgiving dinner in the States, and everybody there was wearing shoes inside somebody's house. And it blew my mind, because here in Nova Scotia, if you wear shoes in somebody's house, that's like a huge sign of disrespect. That's like saying, I'm not comfortable here. I don't care if you have to clean up at me. I'll track whatever through your house. Like, that's what that means. So it blew my mind. So I tweeted this, and I want to hear your opinions. And I'm absolutely here to fight with you because I'm certain that I'm right about this. Do Americans wear their shoes inside other people's houses? Like, if you visit someone, you walk around their house with your dirty ass shoes all over the floors. I am shook. That can't be right. I want you guys to weigh in because my Twitter went bonkers. Like, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of responses. And I can't believe, I'm floored. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing. I don't know if it's a Nova Scotian thing. But I'm literally like shook. I'm shook that people walk in somebody else's house with their shoes on. Maybe it's just me. Like I live with a guy who was in San Francisco for a while and is from, the bad part of Canada on the West Coast. And he's not on my team here. So I need allies. I need you to take your shoes off in somebody else's house. Allies, guys. Like this is a lot. And the last time somebody in my residence hosted Twit Tweets, it was my boyfriend Paul from Paulogia. And I spent the entire time attempting to destroy this stream by just feeding him tequila. I don't know if some of you guys watched that one, but I just kept sneaking into his room with drinks. I'm kind of hoping that's going to happen tonight, but also not, because I need to be cognizant of I need to be able to read the super chats that you guys are, I'm certain, going to send, even though I was told explicitly not to promote super chats. But like I said, I do whatever the fuck I want. Somebody gave me the keys. You make huge mistakes sometimes, Vice. Sorry, here we are. Oh, look, there's super chats. All right. JZ Meester or Meister? I'm not sure. I am the ball. That's right. You are the ball. You were the yellow ball. Anyway, happy early birthday, and thank you for supporting Rhino. There wasn't a question about it. He is one of my best friends. From Bronze Eagle Productions, I don't even wear shoes in my own house. Exactly, like what? Who wears shoes inside a house? Samuel Patry, shoes off at the door, period. Norwegian here. Thank you. I'm feeling vindicated. I'm legitimately feeling vindicated. And a lot of the tweets that people made were like, I don't know what's on your floors. So that just goes to say, like, you're not comfortable at my house. That's, if you're taking your shoes off, or if you're not taking your shoes off, that's you telling me that you're not comfortable here. Like, you think it's dirty here and you don't mind making it dirtier. I'm feeling vindicated. Okay, Samuel Patry, yeah, shoes off at the door. R. Finch, the age you'll be pretending to be for the next 11 years. Oh, you'll claim only to be 49. I'm like super outed on the internet as being 40 now too, so I can't even say I'm 39 anymore. It was a huge error in judgment. I made a mistake. That was an error in judgment. And Jarrett Glosson was so excited to see the charity event break 40K. Pardon me. Yeah, me too. That was huge. You guys like stepped up massively, and it was nice to see. It was really nice to see. And none ya business. Oh, I love that name. Social codes like that are different from area to area. In Japan, indoor shoes are a thing. In Canada, you take them off. Here, we don't care. It still boggles my mind. Like, it just legitimately, I can't get around it. I can't get around it. I'm talking so much, I can barely drink. I'm doing a bad job of trying to black out the night before my 40th birthday. I will do it. Styles. Thanks, Styles. I do 1 when they tell me to, or 2, I am just popping in and out to drop something off real quick. Sorry, I'm not even American. Why do I even answer? Everyone's allowed to answer. This is a societal issue that I didn't realize was a thing until just now. So do you guys want to see some tweets or what? I've got some super cringe for you. I asked Twitter to send me their cringe, and they sent the cringe. You guys, they did. Some of this is really. I also discovered something during this journey, this journey of trying to find cringe tweets. I discovered that most of the like cringiest apologist accounts on Twitter, unbeknownst to me, totally have me blocked. I was like, I'll go check out Frank Turek, blocked. I'll go check out Lee Strobel, blocked. I'll go check out Ken Ham, blocked. Blocked, 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 blocked. I like to think it's because I'm formidable, but it's probably because I act like a dickhead on Twitter. But also, I'm formidable, so why not both? Why not both? It can be both, right? It can totally be both. Oh, we got another super chat. Yay, super chats. I'm 1/4 Canadian and barely wear shoes. That's right. Shoes are for winter. Shoes are for winter. Like, you don't walk into somebody's house and tell them, yay, I'm uncomfortable here. I'm leaving soon. It's like, to me, it's like walking into somebody's house and not taking off your jacket. That's like saying, I have no intention of staying. I'm not comfortable here. I don't know. Plus the added level of tracking potentially like mud and whatever into their house. And people were like, well, I don't know what's on your floors. Wear socks. Like, do you guys not wear socks? Or that they didn't want other people walking in their bare feet. And I was like, do Americans not own socks? Like, buy some socks, guys. Buy some socks. I've ticked off Bronze Eagle Productions. I've ticked off all the apologists. I mean, that's fair. I mean, probably. I didn't try to. It wasn't intentional. I may have. I swing like a pendulum, I think, sometimes. On Twitter, I'm not the best version of myself. In real life, I'm a little bit more measured. And when I'm in direct interactions, I'm a bit more measured. But on Twitter, I'm kind of a sarcastic bitch on Twitter. I don't mean to, but I just do it sometimes. We're going to start. I have several, and we need to get through them. Or we're going to be here all night. I mean, maybe you guys are up for that. I might be up for that. We'll see. We'll see if I get more drinks brought to me. But I have so much cringe. So much cringe. Also, if you don't send a super chat and you want me to see what you're sending, don't tag Shannon Q because I won't see it because I have the keys to the channel. So what I see highlighted in red for me is Vice Rhino. So if you're adding Vice Rhino, those are going to show up for me. I'll try to discern what's you interacting with him and what's you asking me questions. All right. So this one is a delight. It's a lot to take in. So I'm going to need you guys to just brace yourself. Sit down and try to decipher this. So I said I love #atheists. Though I'm medically, this is a doctor apparently, he's an MD. Though I medically believe that atheism is the worst ever scam. He medically believes that atheism is a scam. Medically. He looked at us physiologically and thought to himself, well, my diagnosis of your medical issue is that this is a scam. Because that tracks. That totally makes sense. Yet some ought to be judged for ruining the world. Ruining the world. Even though we're medically sick with scam, we have the disease of scam, we should still be judged because we are ruining the world. An Italian Christian young man in first year high school suffers the oppression of atheist teachers who turned the whole class atheist. Did everybody get all that? So we're going to break this down. It's really important. We understand this medically. We need to medically understand what's happening here. So he loves atheists, but medically we're sick with scam, but we should be judged for ruining all of the world. And his anecdotal evidence is there's an Italian Christian young man who was in his first year of high school, and that young man's teachers, all of them, were atheists, and they turned that young man's whole class, all of them into atheists. So I'm going to need all of us to settle into the realization of our illness. this makes me want to make a t-shirt. This makes me want to say a t-shirt that says, "It's not my fault, I have scam." I'm sick. I'm medically sick with scam. And I feel like it's like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do if I've been medically diagnosed with scam? What do you want from me? Like, I now have to turn this entire class of grade 9 students in Italy into atheists because I'm sick with scam. So there should be some sort of charity for people like me to help us not have scam anymore, so that we don't have to corrupt the children. That's all I'm saying. Because if we didn't have scam, just think about how much better the world would be. I asked you guys for cringe. You did not disappoint me. You did not disappoint. I didn't even know what to do with that. I had to read it like 3 times to try to figure out how to even understand what it meant. Oh, we've got more super chats. Oh, and what? Did you send yourself a super chat? Dude, Vice Rhino. Canada has sludge that you have to walk through half the year. That is valid. That is entirely true. That may be a factor in why we tend to be shoes off people. That's true, maybe. But I can't believe that wouldn't be the case in like large portions of the States, though. Like large portions of the States would also have like snow and slush and rain. There's no way. Like, I'm going to die on this hill. I really, really feel like you got to take your shoes off, guys. Like, you just have to. All right, so hopeful gamer plays. Personally, it depends. Foot and house temperature. Oh, okay, that's valid. I don't like being cold. Whether or not the person cares and how insecure I'm feeling about my feet at the moment. But, like, you'd have socks, though, right? You'd have socks. I mean, I don't want anybody to feel insecure about their feet. I guess maybe it just doesn't dawn on me that you should feel insecure about your feet because we're always walking around without shoes on each other's houses. I don't want anybody to feel insecure. I mean, that's case by case, but like on measure, I'm still like, hey, did you bring me a drink? Yay! And a dog. I've not done this one yet. Paul's dancing with the dog. Say hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
You're funny. That's Paul from Paulogia. He's here to bring me drinks. Oh gosh, I have to drink faster, evidently. But like, back to Scam Guy. I don't know, like, okay, I'm gonna tag Vice Rhino and tell me what you think about dude here. Just super chatting yourself. Oh, see, like, it's very difficult for me to discern what's for Vice and what's for me. From Rick, does super chatting yourself mean you want to make sure you say... That's valid because I have to read the super chats, but I will absolutely ignore him just like adding me in the chat because I do what I want. And he's already made a mistake. I tweeted out earlier today that now that I have the keys to the channel, I'm going to randomly change several of his videos, just the titles to Disney princess movies. So if you guys come across a Vice Rhino video that's titled like Cinderella or like Moana, that was me. I did that because I'm a dickhead. All right, so Bronze Eagle Productions. I live in Seattle. Your shoes will 100% get filthy with rain and mud here. Exactly. So maybe it is like weather dependent. This is like my Twitter legacy. I think this might be the most controversial tweet I've ever made, but I stand by it. Was Paul wearing shoes? None of your business says Paul was wearing shoes. He may have been, just to spite me. Just specifically to spite me, because he wasn't earlier. Central California. Oh, so from Jimmy Taylor. Central California, no snow or slush, shoes optional. See, it's like... there's still like dust and shit and like rocks and stuff that you get in your shoes. Like, there's no way that there's no mud anywhere in California. I refuse to believe it. You guys have mudslides and shit there. Neil C., Shannon, Dr. Scam is a good name. That is a good name. I like that name. But I still do think that we need a shirt that says, I'm sick from scam. I'm sick with scam. Sorry. I need to corrupt your children. And also, apparently, I need to be judged for ruining our world. All right, so Vice Rhino, I think we need to have a serious discussion. What Disney princess would Matt Powell be? Kent Hovind, Ray Comfort. Like, this is hard. This is hard. That's a good question. What Disney princess would Matt Powell be? Or Kent Hovind? You guys discuss that amongst yourselves, and we will suss it out later, because I'm going to need these ideas for later on this evening when I finished this drink that Paul just brought me and I start changing the titles. I'm just kidding. I won't do that. I'm totally going to do that. All right. Let's find another tweet. We have some that aren't cringe, but it's not this one. This one's exceptionally cringe. It's really bad. This one was sent by V, who hosted last week, and they did a phenomenal job, and you should go watch. It was so good. I was actually going to open this week talking about Richard Dawkins and how I stand with my trans brothers, sisters, and others, and how he frustrates the living crap out of me. But they did such a phenomenal job of covering that, and their perspective is so much more valuable than mine, that I think it's worth going and listening to them. But all that is to say, they sent me this tweet that didn't quite make the cut last week. And it's a doozy. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So this went around Twitter a little bit, like, I want to say like a week ago. I saw several tweets about this, and I don't know if this is what sparked it or if this happened to like spin off from that tweet, but it was about nudity. Everybody was talking about whether or not it's like puritanical enough to even see your spouse or yourself naked. So we'll read it. Let's just take a drink first. Everybody drink. Kent would be Governor Radcliffe from Pocahontas. Jessa, that checks out. I feel like that tracks. That tracks. I like that, Jessa. That's good. Or Yessa. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. That's actually pretty good. Because this makes me think I should also change thumbnails. I don't know whose idea it was to give me the keys to this channel the night before my 40th birthday when I'm already a dickhead and he knew I was going to be drinking. Everybody makes bad decisions sometimes. What are you going to do? It'll be like a scavenger hunt tomorrow. It'll be great engagement for your channel, Vice. It's fine. Everybody will go through your video library to find where I hid all of the secret Disney princess references in your video titles, your thumbnails, and your descriptions. It's like a scavenger hunt. Everybody loves a scavenger hunt. This is fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. All right. We're going to talk about this tweet. Zoomer Theosis. Not all nudity is pornography. It's going to be hard to get through this one. Okay. Not all nudity is pornography, but all nudity is harmful to look at, even if it's your spouse. Even if it's your spouse. I don't know how these people apparently outbreed us, and I don't know how. How do you outbreed us, Christians? If you can't even look at your spouse naked, like, these people are lights off, evidently, like clearly lights off type of people. All right, so they're further sharing that a husband ought not to see his wife. A husband ought not to see his wife nude. That, sure, right, okay, that tracks based on that. That's consistent. And this applies to classical art as well. Okay, so guys, squad, gals, people, we need to figure out how do you go about procreating? Like, well, how do you do it well if you can't see your way around? And also, classical art, like, why is the human form so desperately offensive to people who believe that we were created in God's image too? Like, we were created in God's image, so wouldn't you think that gazing upon us would be the closest you can get to being in the presence of God? Like, gazing upon the human form would be the closest that you can get to being in the presence of God. So I don't even understand this. It's like puritanical culture and purity culture in general are mind rot. They're just this undeniably, vapidly disturbing form of mind rot where you deny yourself one of the best parts of the human experience, which is being intimate with another human being on that level. Like, turning yourself away from that to such a degree that you won't even look at your own spouse nude. You're wholly looking at women at that point as well as just reproductive vessels. And looking at yourself, I would suppose, to a certain degree, is just reproductive vessels. And not enjoying your life with your partner. Like, that just, doesn't that sound like the saddest marriage? It would just be so desperately, longingly sad. But I guess they would look at it as like they're being tested, and that's a test of their faith. It's just, I hate the built-ins that make torturing yourself seem as though it's the ideal. Sorry, we got serious for a second. I'll go back to drinking in a minute. There's more super chats. Yay! I will read the super chats because that is my job. All right. Hopeful Gamer plays. Sometimes I have socks, but it depends on the types of shoes. You know, oh, that's valid too, Hopeful Gamer. Because, like, if I wear flip-flops a lot in the summer, so I wouldn't have socks. Some shoes don't require socks. Also, if it's a gathering, I'd be scared that someone I don't know would be into feet. Oh, that's fair. I can feel that viscerally because periodically, for those of you who are smart enough not to follow me on Twitter, and I have just an unacceptable amount of followers on Twitter, and don't ask me why, because I can't explain it either, but I have like 24,000 Twitter followers. But anyway, all that is to say that, like, periodically, because I do YouTube stuff, I do SEO checks like once every couple of months. I just Google Shannon Q just to see what the top searches are, just to, like, know what people are interested in and things that I've previously done. And 100% of the time, 100% of the time, Shannon Q feed is in the top 10. 100% of the time. 100. And I don't get why, and I don't want to kink shame people. I mean, if that's what you're into, cool, but I also didn't give you permission to look at mine, and I don't put them out there, and especially not to be looked at like that. So don't, maybe, but yeah, no, I get it, because it feels almost like a little bit of a violation when somebody is utilizing a part of your body like that. So I get that. I get it. All right, so Melody Joy. Hi, Melody Joy. $1.99, just because. Thank you. That's very sweet. Oh, it says vibes. There's a little sticker. Okay, cool. Your long lost pal. Hi, your long lost pal. Wonder what they think about animal nudity. Ah, interesting. I wonder if they think having fur. Animals are only naked if they're shaved. What if I'm not shaved? Does that mean that I don't count as being naked? Oh wow, I'm just there's somebody's gonna clip that, and I'm really excited for the day that that happens. All right, so Ben Farmer, Matt Powell's Matt Powell's Little Mermaid because he wants to live in another world and will use obviously evil means to be able to do so. Interesting. Coincidentally, it's the same world as Prince Eric. Oh, man. There was a twist at the end. I didn't see that coming. Ben. I didn't see that coming. That's pretty funny. He does obsess a lot, too, about the monkeys on the raft on the ocean. So if he was the Little Mermaid, then he could go see if that was possible. So I'm sure he'd enjoy that the most as well, because he could really test his hypothesis that that's not possible. None of your business. All nudity is bad. What? No, it's not. Everyone needs to wear cloth on every inch of their body, no exceptions. Wear a head covering. Can't show someone your naked eyes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And IOPNC1? Can I call you Shannon K? I mean, you can. It's not my name, but you can totally do it. That's totally fine. I may not answer to it or be confused, but you can absolutely do it. 100%. 110%. We should vote on which drink I should drink, because now I have two. This one is a rum and coke. This one is a Jack Daniel's watermelon cooler. And it's very important that I make the right choices. You guys are in charge. Pardon me. That surfing monkey shirt is awesome. Yeah, that's right. All right. Surfing Monkey needs to be a band name. I would agree with that too. That would be a good band name. I still think that I'm Sick with Scam is a shirt that needs to happen because I think it's funny. So the next thing I want to talk about, there's so many random things I want to talk about. Oh, let's talk about a good thing. Let's talk about a good thing. Let's get moderately serious for a second. So just before we went live in Canada, and finally, by the way, there's been American hosts on this channel, and this is a Canadian channel. Vice is Canadian. This is a Canadian channel. It's about time we had a Canadian host again. So we're taking it back. We're taking Vice channel back for Canada. But in Canada, this happened. Now, I'll read the tweet first, then I'll show you what Bill C4 is so you guys can see what's up. But this is really, really exciting news. So this person doesn't think it's exciting news. This, evangelical Christian. Always choose rum. Okay, deal. All right, Colleen, I'll choose rum. Bill C4 passes with unanimous consent in the Senate. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Has God given our nation over? Oh, that he would rend the heavens open and come down. I still believe that we may see reformation in our time as we face this new test. May God give us stalwart courage to proclaim Christ. So let's show you guys. We'll come back to this tweet because I have 48 things to say about this. And I know Vice did too because he and I were talking about it before the stream. So I'll make sure I touch on his points as well. But I want to show you guys what this bill is. So this is Bill C4. Bill C4 is a bill to make it federally, on the federal level, illegal. Basically to put children or anybody else through conversion therapy or advertised conversion therapy. It's really exciting. On provincial levels, it's already been criminalized, but now it's passed on the federal level. So here's a summary of the bill. I'm going to read it to you, then I'll go back to the really delightful tweet. Summary: this enactment amends the criminal code. The criminal code. Yeah, Canada. To, among other things, create the following offenses: causing another person to undergo conversion therapy, doing anything for the purpose of removing a child from Canada with the intention of that child undergo conversion therapy outside of Canada. So you can't take your child to the States for the purpose of putting them through conversion therapy. You can't transfer them across borders. Promoting or advertising conversion therapy and receiving a financial or other material benefit from the provision of conversion therapy. Isn't that exciting? So I think that's really, really, really exciting. I think that it's a huge step in the right direction to not torturing children, for starters, and not normalizing the act of telling people that it's not okay to be themselves and trying to change an inequality of themselves that is harming no one for the sake of conforming them to a societal or religious standard that is being imposed upon them. So, did Vice just start a poll? Since Shannon is a poopy head. You're wrong. I'm not a poopy head. No shoes inside. So I am pumped about this bill. Like really, really, really excited. Especially the part where you can't cross borders to take a child. So if you feel as though, oh shoot, I now can't, take my child who is trans or gay to go get, that emotionally tortured out of them here in Canada without repercussions. I guess I'll go to the States and do it, or wherever else in the world allows this practice. You literally can't do that. It's a criminal offense now. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Who keeps voting poopy head? Guys, no. Yes, off. Thank you. 65% is off. The polls are on my side. I'm really sorry, but you're just going to have to deal with it. I'm going to read a couple super chats. I should hit end poll. That's what I should do. I should hit end poll. All right. Okay, so I'll read the super chats and I'll get back to the tweet. It's Lop NC. Okay, sorry about that. And not Shannon K, but Shannock. I mean, sure, same difference. Erg, Shannonk. Sure, yeah. Go ahead. Call me whatever you so desire. I just can't promise I will answer to it or understand. From Spineless Moderate. Fun fact. Matt Powell has a giant inflatable banana he calls Dr. Peel in his backyard. I know, I watched Simon Dan. That's funny. From Andrew Batella. Sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly, but do you need to cross borders to wear your shoes? No. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of, because in the States, apparently, you wear shoes inside. I don't know if I could do it. Like, I don't think I would feel comfortable. I just don't think I have it in me. Maybe it's just a cultural thing. Like, if I made it past the entryway of somebody's house with my shoes still on, I would immediately feel like I had to apologize. Like, oh shoot, I'm so sorry, I forgot to take off my shoes. I'll go take them back right away. Is there anything on your floor? I'll get it. My bad. I just wasn't thinking. Like, that's how we think here, I guess. I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like the poll, even though there's way too many poopy heads okay, the poll is done. Shoes inside off 62%. Shannon is a poopy head 19%. But you know what? That doesn't matter because that still beats on. On is below that at 18%. So I'm still right. Poopy head or not. Me being a poopy head actually probably helped my cause. Probably helped my cause here because she's off. Anthony Scarinci. Shannon, much love from Massachusetts. Much love from Nova Scotia, Anthony. Thank you for being here. I'm pumped. All right. Let's talk about this tweet. Let's have a discussion about all the various ways this is fucked up. So Nathan's tweet here is fucked up for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons it's fucked up is because he's upset that this is the case. I can't conceive of. Oh, I mean, I can conceive of, but I don't understand why anybody thinks conversion therapy is a good idea. All of this science, like all of this psychological science surrounding conversion therapy, demonstrably shows that it increases things like suicidal ideology. It increases things like dissatisfaction with life in general. It increases rates of situational depression. Like, the list goes on. There are no beneficial factors for the people participating in conversion therapy. The people who benefit from conversion therapy are the people who want to not see gay and trans people in society and want them to comport to their desires for what they think an idyllic society looks like, and have them live up to those standards despite them harming no one. So they want to harm them despite them harming no one. They want to harm and torture them despite them harming no one and just existing on their own as they are. And they think that that's beneficial because they have themselves so caught up that their worldview and perspective is the correct and accurate one, that they feel as though torturing them is actually doing them a favor because their God is going to torture them more than they're being tortured right now, should they live their life in the regard that they wish to do so. And that is a travesty. It's an absolute travesty that you can actively want to harm people and justify it to yourself by saying, well, the person that I worship is going to harm you worse, so I'm just protecting you from them, which is me being good to you. That disgusts me, actually, to be perfectly honest with you. The people that do that, it just disgusts me. You're actively hurting people, and convincing yourself you're a good person. You're not. Sorry, newsflash, you're not. You're not a good person. You're never going to hear it from me that you are. But the next point, and this is the point that Vice brought up that he wanted to make sure I hammered home on, and I agree with him. After he says, has God given our nation over? Oh, that he would rend the heavens open and come down. So this is this gentleman here, Nathan, wishing on a star that God would harm more people to punish us for the immorality of allowing people who harm no one to live their lives without interference from us. That apparently means that society should be punished, and that is something that he would wish for. That is something that he would want. That is something that he desires. He desires that. That would be his like dream scenario. That God opens the heavens, rend the heavens open and come down. Like, it's almost like a threat. Like, it never ceases to amaze me how people don't have the capacity to look at this line of thinking and have this just blatant self-realization, this obvious self-realization that I'm wishing a significant amount of harm on others, and in this guy's case, all of society, for not comporting to my arbitrary set of standards. And my justification for that is that I don't see my set of standards as arbitrary. I see them as God-given. So that harm is justified. And these are the people who preach morality at me all the time. It's dumbfounding. It's dumbfounding to me. Like, no one's interfering with you. Like, let people be people if they're not harming you or anybody else. And not only are you wishing that we would still allow practice that harms them, you're saying that because we no longer want to allow a torturous, harmful practice, that God should torture us all. You're the good one. Tell me how that checks out. Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how that makes sense. So anyway, that is good news. The tweet pisses me off because unfortunately there's more than one person who thinks like this, and they're exceptionally vocal and they have some political sway. And that's disheartening. But it's my birthday, so let's read super chats. All right. So I Heart Dogs. Hi, Heart Dogs. Is C4 Senate passage the final step? Is it law now? Yes, I believe so. Because that puts it in the criminal code. So the Senate is the final step. So the Senate isn't elected in Canada; it's appointed. So first it would go through Parliament, and then the Senate would give it royal assent, and then the Governor General, I believe, would sign it. And then it would be law. But the Governor General signing it is just basically like a rubber stamp. We have a parliamentary system here. But the Governor General is like the representative of the Queen. And there's some arguments that could be made for abolishing the Senate. But today is not the day for me to have that conversation about Canadian politics. But yeah, so royal assent would be the next step. And that I don't know if that has or hasn't occurred yet. I don't think it is. But it's a formality. So basically, yes. So basically, yeah. Isn't that cool? I'm pretty pumped about it. Metacognition. Having a bad idea isn't a problem in itself, but going on to ignore all evidence that is harmful is inexcusable and horrible. Yeah, I would agree. Like, it's so frustrating to me that these people preach demonstrably harmful practices and wish harm upon large swaths of people that are doing nothing to them simply because they don't live their own lives in a way that they want them to. And they don't, and they've managed to reconcile the dissonance of that by seeing themselves as protectors of those people and without the realization that what they are protecting these people that they're harming from is God, because they fear that God will harm them worse than they are currently being harmed. So it's the lesser of two evils to them. So they're doing them a favor. And they do not see that is them admitting basically that however horrifyingly torturous and awful this thing is that's happening to you feels, God is going to do so much worse to you. But you should love him. Solid argument. Yeah. Fear-based coercion is the best kind, right? Best kind. Best. Why do atheists have channels? Why do you guys always talk about it? Oh, okay, because you guys try to affect society constantly and do shit like this, and it affects real people in a very tangible way. And that seems like it should matter to anybody who's, not an asshole. So maybe that's why. Anywho, I'm getting worked up. Let's talk about another idiot. This is just a demonstrably stupid tweet from an American politician who I followed for a little while. Some of you guys may be familiar with her. But I'm going to give you guys a minute as I read it to figure out why this is dumb. I'm going to see who can get it. This one's hard. This one's really hard. It's hard to find the dumb in this because it's so well written. And it's flawless. It's essentially flawless. All right. From Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a stable genius. 1. There is no 2, by the way. That's 1. Here's my one thought of 1. Every single year, more than 600,000 people in the U.S. die from cancer. I mean, I haven't looked that up. That may be correct. It's irrelevant to why this is stupid. The country has never once shut down. Not a single school is closed. And every year, over 600,000 people of all ages and races will continue to die from cancer. So, does anybody want to start another poll as to why this tweet is stupid? It's mostly in the subtext. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard to get because it's not obvious on its face. So I'll give you guys a second. I'll read a couple super chats and we'll come back to it. But I believe in you guys. I have faith. And faith is defined as trust that you guys can do this. So I'll be right back. All right. So none of your business. Which is worse? The fact that you think I'm a monster or the fact that you don't realize that you think I'm a monster? What I'd say if I were God. Vice got it. I'm not going to say anything. I'll let you guys do the poll. And then we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll come back. I'll do another tweet and we'll come back to it. Poutine. Hey. Oh, now I want poutine. Now I want poutine really badly, actually. I friggin' love poutine. Styles. We need this bill in Germany too. Everybody should have this bill. Conversion therapy should just be illegal, period, full stop, all the way across the board. Plus, organizations that deem this therapy suitable or beneficial to be declared criminal organizations. That's essentially what happened here. Like, while you guys are voting on why Marjorie Taylor Greene is such an abject moron, I'll bring the bill up again so that you guys can see what's up. But like this part of the bill, let me see if you guys can see it. I got to bring OBS back up. Okay, you guys can. So receiving a financial or other material benefit from the provision of conversion therapy essentially means that any organization that receives any benefit from recruiting people to advertising for or actually conducting conversion therapy is now considered a criminal organization. Isn't that exciting? I fucking love it. I do. I really do. Because it's mental torture. It's abject mental torture. Like, and the fact that our government is recognizing it is just music to me. It's absolutely music to me that is happening right now. And I know people may disagree with me, but I don't actually care because I know so many people who fear that this is something that may be forced into or have had this as an experience and it did torture them, set them back years, caused them post-traumatic stress, caused them to doubt themselves, caused them to have serious disassociation to their own identity, caused them separation from family members, whereas if you had gotten some form of therapy that would actually allow you to reconcile yourself with, you know, the fact that you do fit into society, this is an acceptable sexual orientation, you know, like your gender identity is valid, and that, you know, we're here to support you and help you through this journey so that you can better understand yourself. Like if you are sexually questioning or gender questioning, you may not always end up being a trans person. You may not always end up being gay. Like these things exist upon a spectrum. And just saying, no, absolutely not. You can't even have that inclination. We're not going to discuss it. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to explore it with you. We're not going to help you through it. We're not going to help you discover who you are. We are instead going to tell you who you are, and you are going to listen, and we're going to get you to listen. Otherwise, there are going to be consequences societally. There's going to be consequences emotionally. There are going to be consequences for you personally. There are going to be consequences familially. Sorry, the end. Like the answer is to help people explore that and better understand it so that they can become themselves, not push them into a box where you tell them who it is acceptable to be. That is bullshit. And anybody who tells you that it isn't bullshit can fuck off. From Shannon. On the occasion of my birthday. All right, so we have the votes are in for why Marjorie Taylor Greene is a fucking moron. This is so... Let's see if you guys got it. Why stupid? Because cancer isn't contagious. 58%. Well done. I don't know, boobs or something came in at a solid 35. And I mean, that's fair. That's fair. And God was 5%. But the correct answer is cancer is not contagious. Cancer is not contagious. Now, I'm sure that you guys are smart enough to get the subtext of this tweet. The subtext of this tweet being that we don't close schools down because people die of things that aren't contagious, like cancer. So why are we closing schools down when there is something that is contagious in the schools? Because those two things are obviously the same. They're obviously the same. They are equivalent. Like, I know that I felt very, very safe when I was around my dad a few weeks ago before he passed away when he had cancer, because it's not contagious. So why don't I feel the same way? If I was in the hospital already, why didn't I just wander into the COVID ward, just take a couple deep breaths and lick a bunch of stuff? Like, it's functionally the same, right? It's functionally the same. It's the same. She's a stable genius. People elected her to, like, an actual position in the government. Sometimes I feel like American politics is now a reality TV show. I don't know if Americans feel like that sometimes, but I feel as though that's like what it is. It's like, who's the craziest personality we can put in here to entertain ourselves on the news cycle? And they're just like, well, she seems nuts. She said that, Jewish people were starting fires in California with space lasers. She should probably represent my... That's what I want from my district. Where do I sign? Where do I put the X? Where's the hanging chat? I want to make sure there's no mistake about it. I voted. Like, it's the only way it would make sense to me. Is if somehow Americans are just like, maybe this would be funny to watch. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. All right, there's more super chats. Oh my gosh, I've been doing this for an hour already. I don't know how you guys aren't tired of this. I ramble. All right, so... Oh no, did I lose it? No, I didn't. There it is. Carol Ann, I hope you have watched Randy Rainbow's song about Marjorie Taylor Greene. No, I haven't. Oh, I didn't know that they did one. I should. I like Randy Rainbow's songs. None your business. I genuinely thought Trump was doing a bit. I know, right? Like, it's bananas to me. I don't, like, I watch American politics and I'm like, oh, why? Oh, you're really... You're going to get that person to write a bill? Like, the person who's like, I don't understand why we don't close schools when people die of cancer, but we do when there's this highly contagious disease that's killing people. Huh? Explain that. Checkmate, liberals. Showed you. Anywho. Oh, who do we do next? I still got a couple left. Okay, I'll try to get through a few more. Are you guys down for a few more? Come on, it's my birthday. Almost. It's not technically my birthday. It's an hour and a half until my birthday. And I haven't even started this drink yet. Paul jumped the gun. He was too eager. Or he's just used to how quickly I usually drink things. So I had to go into incognito to get this. So that's why it's not in my usual Twitter background, which is dark mode. Because I had to go into an incognito browser specifically for this stream. That's how much I love you guys. Just to find some cringe. Because I didn't think that this would be complete without a Frank Turek tweet. Now, Frank's had me blocked for a very, 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 very long time. And I can't remember why he blocked me. I think it was because I called him an ass clown. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Oh, no, it's Lee Strobel blocked me because I said that his book on miracles was expensive toilet paper. Oh, I shouldn't have a Twitter account. Frank Turk, I think, blocked me because I called him an ass clown. So, but that was a long time ago. So I haven't looked at Frank Turk's tweets in like ages. Ages. And there was so much that annoyed me. Like, a lot of it really pissed me off. But this one annoyed me the most. And it's because of the cartoon, I think. So I'll read it to you. Oh, thanks. N.O. Harris says, happy birthday, Shannon. It's already tomorrow in the UK. So I guess I am 40 in Great Britannia. That sucks. I'm not 40 in Nova Scotia yet, though. Give me a minute. So Frank Turek, we have good reasons to believe in God's existence. And when we try to deny it, it's very hard. It's not. Maybe when you do, Frank. I have no problem. None. I have 0% problems trying to deny the existence of God. I have a huge success rate. like just almost insurmountable success rate denying God's existence. It's working out okay for me so far. I'm doing all right. We know from experience that most of the time the objections are volitional and not rational. So this is apologists talking to Christians. They all ostensibly pretend like they're talking to us atheists to try to like get us back into the fold, but they're absolutely not. They're talking to Christians in order to reaffirm them, to basically make us seem as though we're irrational and we all know it ourselves in our hearts and are basically just denying it, so that they can affirm to other people who may have those kernels of doubt that that's just a normal thing that everybody goes through, but that we really know it in our hearts. And the problem with atheists is that they're just denying it. Like they had those kernels of doubt and they're just suppressing the truth and unrighteousness. And this Princess and the Pea freaking cartoon, let's make it bigger so that we can all see it in all of its glory. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this guy in his atheist shirt with his eyes all wide. Look at him. Like he climbed all the way up on these mattresses to sleep on his bed of atheism. But like, look at these little divots. You know what those are? These are his mattresses of there is no God. But down here is the little P of I know there is a God. And because he's a princess, evidently, just like the Princess and the Pea in his atheism shirt, like we all sleep in. This is my nightgown. It's like he was in my room, and he wakes up, and he's like, oh shit, oh goddamn, that's what's been bothering me this whole time. That kernel of knowledge that there is in fact a God, that I'm just trying to cover up with all these fucking mattresses. I don't like this shit. You were never a real Christian squad is right up there with the Romans 120 squad, and they don't even understand that the two of them like contradict each other. It pisses me off. Like they talk about atheists, but not two atheists, right? They like. See if I can articulate this well. I don't know if I can. Let's have a drink first, and we'll read some super chats, and then I'll see if I can get my shit together. Because it's annoying to me. It's really frustrating. Okay. Bronze Eagle Productions says not singling out, wow, any state in particular, but certain regions of the U.S. are doing very little to dispel their reputation for ignorance. I mean, that may well be the case. I don't follow U.S. politics closely enough, but it's hard to miss Marjorie Taylor Greene. And what's her name? Boebert? Lauren Boebert? It's hard to miss her too. Like, it's really hard. It's hard not to see her shit. Silver Harlow. Cancer didn't stop in the last 2 years. COVID caused additional and mostly preventable deaths. Yeah, totally agree. Absolutely. But they didn't close down schools, so it's basically the same thing. 100%. 100% the same thing. So, this princess in the Pea cartoon, it makes me mad because they're basically attributing thought processes to atheists. They're saying that I'm going to imbue atheists with these mental characteristics in order to make an argument against them. So they're like building up like this effigy of an atheist in order to like hit it with a stick, when it just isn't a real, like it's just not real. It's not representative, certainly, of a large quantity of that. Like there may be an atheist who feels like this, but on measure, and I've been around the atheist block, that's just not the case. We just flat don't believe it. And in fact, many of us, through our deconstructions, really, really, really desperately wanted to retain belief with all of our whole ass hearts, and couldn't if we were being intellectually honest with ourselves. Like, we had to let it go if we were being intellectually honest with ourselves. We weren't attempting to suppress the truth that God exists. We were working as hard as we could to try to affirm it so that we could retain it, and could not do it. The second thing that annoys me about this is these are the same people who, out of the other side of their mouths, when somebody has a deconversion story, or when somebody speaks with an apologist doing any sort of counter apologetics, will say, well, you were never a real Christian. That version of faith that you have wasn't actually faith. It was some not reasonable facsimile of faith that means that you weren't actually a Christian to begin with, which is a direct contradiction to this, but they don't give a fuck about that, because they only make these arguments when it's convenient in the moment. If it's convenient to say that I was never a real Christian and I never really had faith, then that's what they'll use in the moment. And if it's convenient for them to say, I always had faith and I know God exists, then that is what they will use in the moment. And that is a direct contradiction, but they don't give a shit, because they don't give a fuck about me and they don't give a fuck about the truth. All they give a fuck about is whether or not they can convince the people who are watching them that already believe what they believe, whether or not I am or am not reasonable. So they are creating an effigy of me that they can slam down. And it's fucking frustrating, especially when you're trying to have an honest conversation, which I do more often than not. I mean, I'm human. I've had instances where I fly off the rails because it is so frustrating, especially to be so consistently misrepresented, for the purpose of utilizing me as a sounding board so that you can convince your audience that they should believe something about people like me that just isn't true when you make contradictory statements otherwise. Anyway, I lost my train of thought, but I feel like I hammered that point home. I wonder if you guys agree with that. The atheists in the audience, and like the theists in the audience here too, because I know that there's theists here too that watch the same way that I watch a lot of theistic channels to like get the idea of, what the other side is going on about. Like, how do you feel about that? Oh, somebody said more Jack Daniels for me. Okay. I don't make the rules. I just have to follow the chat. That's what I was told to do. Whatever the chat says. All right. Oh, Poutine sent a super chat. Then I have another one. Number 2. All right. A2, Hey, buds. All right. What's the next one that I had? Oh, I don't want to go too far over. Don't want to wear out my welcome. Oh, but I do want to talk about this. Okay. They do it to me too. Willow Wisp. They do it to me too, Shannon. And I don't even drink. I'm a sad, sober trans. Nobody knows what it's like to be the sad trans. Oh, Willow, don't be sad. Be happy. You don't have to drink to be happy. I'm just drinking. I'm drinking because I'm sad. That I'm old. And because Paul brought me drinks and they taste good. All right. So let's see. Is there anything else in the chat? Oh, Rhino's posting a link to something. Everybody go check it out. I have no idea what it is. I'm hoping it's not a video of me acting like an idiot, but it wouldn't surprise me. So we're going to talk about this. While I was looking for cringe, my go-to cringe is usually Dinesh D'Souza and Matt Walsh. So while I was on Dinesh D'Souza's Twitter feed, which is something that I would recommend to 0% of people in the world, I actually mute him most of the time because he pisses me off so bad. I found that he had retweeted Matt Walsh. And Matt Walsh, if you don't know who he is, he writes for, I think it's whatever Ben Shapiro's stupid ass propaganda rag is. I think it's called Daily Wire. So Matt Walsh writes for the Daily Wire. He is like a Christian fundamentalist evangelical dude. And a dickhead. So what he did, because he also is a bit of a troll and thinks he's funny, is he published a children's book under Amazon's LGBTQ children's banner called Johnny the Walrus. And in this book, he writes about how a small boy pretends to be a walrus, and because he's attempting a sad-ass reductio ad absurdum, the parents say, oh, okay, you are a walrus, and affirm that identity, and how ridiculous that is because that's just pretend. So he's essentially making fun of trans people through the guise of a children's book, which he marketed directly to children, put it under the LGBT Amazon banner, and got away with it. And actually managed to sell pretty well because right-wing people really love to troll marginalized communities because they're dickheads. So now, whenever somebody suggests that he's an asshole for doing this, he says, that's hate speech against a beloved best-selling LGBT children's author. So I don't even want his book on screen anymore. I just want to talk about what trash that is, because it is. It's like it's garbage. It's absolutely, completely garbage. Him attempting to conflate a child playing imagination games where they pretend to be animals with a child's actual gender identity in order to make it seem as though it's ludicrous that a child would have an identity other than the one assigned to them, is fucking repulsive to me. It's repugnant. And the fact that he made it into a joke so that he could stand on his little soapbox and say that anybody who criticizes him for doing this absolutely atrocious thing, and because he did market it as an LGBTQ children's book on Amazon and got it under the radar, which means that there are parents who maybe aren't as discerning in or know who he is that may purchase this book for a child unknowingly and that child, should they be gender questioning, may have like significant emotional damage as a result of this. And he thinks it's funny. He thinks it's funny. He thinks it's hilarious because in his perspective, I guess, I don't know if trans children don't exist in his world, but they exist in reality, demonstrably so. So his world can fuck off, and it's not amusing and it's not a joke. So that was my final twit tweet of the day. I don't like Matt Walsh. I don't like people that think it's amusing to harm marginalized people, so that they can make money and get clout. I don't think that's amusing. I think that's not funny at all. And he can fuck off. Yeah, so my trans sisters, brothers, and others, I'm with you, and he can go to hell. And I think that's it for me. We did it! An hour and 15 minutes. You guys tolerated me. You did it. Those of you who are still here, thank you for making it. Make sure that you support Vice Rhino, share out all of his videos, go on the scavenger hunt to find out which ones I renamed after Disney princesses. Because I may or may not be doing that if I can figure out how to do it. And if you I don't know, were able to tolerate me, then you can go to Shannon Q. I don't do anything like this on that channel though, so I mean, if you liked this, you probably won't like it. If you didn't like this, you still might not like it. I don't know. I'm not good at self-promotion. And support Vice Rhino. Support the fuck out of that guy. He is a good fucking human, and he's an amazing dad, and he's a good friend. And even though he has bad judgment and he let me come on here today, I mean, you can't hold that against him. You just can't. Everybody makes mistakes, guys. And it's my birthday. If it's your friend's birthday, like, what are you going to do? Not let them get drunk and ruin your channel? What kind of friend would you be? What kind of friend would you be if you didn't let your friend get drunk and ruin your channel on their 40th birthday? Like, you should support him just for that. Like, he took a risk. He took a risk. I am Shannon Q. I'm going to leave you. Thank you very much. Follow me on Twitter. Actually, just kidding, don't. That's a huge fucking mistake. And as always, everyone, help elevate the discourse. Bye!